And we will get started. So I am Les Miller, and I work in the Career Development Center, in particular with internships and student employment. And tonight we've got our two panelists that we have, Michael Davis and McKenzie Mack. And I've got a list of questions that we're going to go over and just talk a little bit about their experiences with virtual internships. So I will let McKenzie go first. McKenzie, if you can just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your major, and where you had your intern site.
Yeah, this picture was like boom. But so my name is McKenzie. I'm a senior elementary education major with a concentration in diversity studies. I do my student teaching next semester, but in the elementary ed department, you do an internship every semester for your last three. So last semester for Block 1, I had the opportunity of interning at Mooresville Graded School District Online Academy, mouthful. But what it consisted of was about 30 hours a week of sitting in on a second grade classroom. So yeah, I don't know if I answered all the questions, but.
Oh, yeah, you did. All right. And Michael.
Yes, so yeah, my name is Michael Davis. I'm a double major in econ political science, and I interned virtually over the summer at the NC Equal Access to Justice Commission. But if you're like me and you didn't know what that meant before, just a little bit before you interned there, like a lot of people don't know this, but like you don't have the right to attorney for like a civil case. So say Les sues me or takes me to court for being late today or something like that. Just hypothetical here, but like there's no rights attorney for that. So the whole job is to kind of expand access to legal services for people who can't afford them for civil cases.
Very good. What would you consider, Michael, was maybe one of your most challenging aspects of your internship?
I mean, and it's fairly obvious, just the like whole virtual aspect. And I think, at least for me, not like challenging, but almost like kind of like just kind of like toying mentally, is that I feel like so close to the people I work with, like I've never met them before in my entire life. Like our intern group of like 4 or 5 was close, and then like it was just like I would like meet one-on-one with a person for a project in the morning, and they'd have like their baby crawl up or their dog would be like jumping all over them, and it was like that. But I was like, I've never like seen them before, so definitely I think the challenge with that is that like, so like, oh hey, bye. And there's so many things that literally if they would have just been in the office beside me, they could have been like, here, just like here's how you do it. And but doing it at home and trying to do it on Zoom and find a time that like, can you call me and like show me how this works on your screen, share this screen real quick. That it's just like things that would have like taken so much shorter in person kind of get like made even more difficult, if that makes sense.
Mhm. No, it does. How about you, McKenzie?
Mine is honestly the same as Michael's. Just like teaching, you thrive off those connections with students and like my student teacher person, like the person that was leading the classroom. It's just missing out on being there physically teaching was kind of tough. And usually it would be I'm in the classroom like a whole school day on a Friday. And I get to like, work in groups, do assignments, even teach a lesson. And because everything shifted so quickly, I mainly was just watching. So I didn't get as much hands on, but I was lucky. Some people didn't even get to speak, but we got lucky that we got to be in group work and help with homework. But it's just that not being in person part that gets you. It's just so much you can do over Zoom. So that I think that was the hardest.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so depends upon each one of you, then you're here if this is your sophomore year or junior, senior year. It really depends, but internships, why do it? A lot of them is, well, as my program of study says, I have to do it. And for some of them, you do have the opportunity to have your internships for academic credit. But also it's learning different work environments and getting the valuable work experience that's going to help you out. It is a resume builder, and we'll get into the different types of internships, but you're developing these different skills. And I know when I was in school, I had a couple of internships, and I interned in various places as well. And I found those to be the most valuable skills that I was able to ascertain when I had those internships. So we've got different areas of psychology and arts, events or human resources, teaching in the environment, as McKenzie had mentioned, and just helping others, business, Michael, within those, and being a representative of being able to help out. It's just, there's a lot of different avenues that you have and opportunities that are available for you to see what you can do for your internships. And within these internships, then your employer is going to provide these opportunities for you to have the different skill sets that you'll be able to develop. Now, these are the NACE career readiness competencies. This won't be the last time you hear about NACE, and NACE is NACE, and that stands for National Association for Colleges and Employers. If you are a student employee on campus, you may have heard this from your student employee supervisor. We have an initiative that we will be pushing out here later on in a couple of months on campus that's called App Grows. And we will be using these skill sets, these 8 different skill sets, and talking about the opportunities that you will be able to develop and to grow, service also being one of them. So any place where you are within your academic setting, in your work setting, or in your internship setting, you'll have an opportunity to develop problem solving, technology, critical thinking, oral and written communication, digital technology, global and intercultural fluency. And hopefully you'll be able to identify in each one of your different areas how you've been able to build and develop these strengths. So McKenzie, what would be some of these skills that you found that you were able to develop as you had your internship?
Yeah, so I guess I can go down the list, honestly. Critical thinking and problem solving is kind of required to be a teacher. But it amped up for being on Zoom, because what if a student, can't turn their camera on and their parents at work and they're talking to you like, how do I make this work? And you have to be a technician and you're like, okay, turn your computer off and come back. So you have to do that on the fly. Oral and written communications, definitely written communications. I had to email my respective teacher a lot just to figure out, get the lesson plan for the next day, get the slides for the next day. And you're talking a lot, so you want to make sure that the students understand what you're saying. So I definitely got a good amount of experience with that. And teamwork, I wasn't the only one in my classroom. I had other students that were in my block with me here that were with us, and we had to do a collaborative lesson plan. So that required a lot of communication. Digital technology, I'm a Zoom guru, y'all. I can do everything on Zoom. If you need help, I got you. So that really helped me out. The same thing for leadership. That's, again, main role of being a teacher. It's kind of crazy. All of these are getting checked off. Professionalism and work ethic. Even though it was on Zoom, upper half of my body had to look as if I was in a classroom. I had to look like a teacher. I had to be professional. Couldn't do anything else on the Zoom call, because students can tell if your eyes wander. They're in 2nd grade, but they're technology gurus too, so they can tell if you're doing something else. So you just want to give them that time. And then career management and global intercultural fluency is just another thing that kind of goes into my career, all of these boxes, but I got the chance to just kind of learn more about that. And I'm so grateful that the College of Ed allows me to do it repeatedly until I graduate.
Very good. How about you, Michael? What were some of the skill sets that you found to be most valuable where you were?
No, yeah, definitely. I think a little bit of each. I'm trying to think of definitely kind of more so critical thinking, is that like not everything I did was like, okay, here are like the 10, 12 steps of like how to do it. A lot of like, well, let's just kind of, try this out and see if this works and if they like that. And it's like, oh, like I need this report to kind of like this, and it's a lot of some people. It's like kind of like how some people like their assignments. Do you want like everything written out for you and like just do it, or like here be very vague and just come back to me? So definitely just kind of tinkering with that, and especially with the way the court system was operating. The summer things were crazy, and especially when they were shut down. So definitely just a lot going on there. Yeah, oral written communications, I think honestly have been more important. I know my first meeting I lead coming back in person is going to be terrible because what I've told a lot of people is that like you're kind of like I love presenting in front of people. I love like talking like in front of a group. Like now I'm literally in my bedroom at my desk, so there's no cues like oh like I can't make eye contact so much. It's just kind of me, myself, and I. And so definitely it's still trying to, I know sometimes I have bad speaking habits and I've developed them because sometimes when I hang out in a smaller group of people, I'm like, I didn't usually do that. So just, especially people do not really notice like your emails and everything like that. Anymore, there were a group of interns. Sometimes I worked with projects on them, sometimes I didn't. And they were in law school and I wasn't. So definitely kind of had to step up a little bit. Yeah, digital technology, I can do anything on Zoom too. If you want to go to a breakout room, you want to poll, boom, we can do that right now. But leadership, I think leadership, like you can show in a lot of different ways, but I think for me, I wouldn't like your traditional leadership thing. And I think this is like was really important for me just because like on campus I'm used to kind of like oh like we're relying on Michael to like kind of start the meeting and like kind of guide us through this, and this time I was on the learning side where I'm like I didn't like not like I'm the expert now, but like I knew nothing about what was going on. I literally was like these people know a lot more than me. Every single person here knows more than I do, and that almost like I'm like having to the roles reversed. So like I think in some meetings people are like oh like I maybe talk more, but this time I was like the whole time maybe just taking notes and had my mic on. For people that know me, they're like maybe that's the way they wanted it to be. But professionalism and work ethic, yes, people can still notice how hard you're working at whether you're not doing anything on Zoom. It's not having led a lot of stuff for SJ. You can tell when people are not there versus when they are. Yeah, so just career management, getting to know people, and definitely like the whole global and cultural fluency. Like I learned a lot about the course system and how different dynamics play, and to like, but we'll just leave it at that for now.
Very good. Well, thank you. And as y'all can see that what both Michael and McKenzie shared with us, then and the examples that they provided as you're thinking about this internship, and when you're in the internship, these are things that different achievements, things that you want to make sure that you're able to identify when it comes to your resume. So all these experiences are key things. We know these are what employers want, but then you want to make sure that you're identifying that within your internship. Where, when, usually then most students we see, this is going to be moving from usually your sophomore year into your junior year. But it being remote, then you can have your internship anywhere as a virtual internship. We even have opportunities that are internships internationally. And so we have some different programs. We had one organization that was on our event yesterday, our career event, Internship Expo, that does offer international internships virtually. So there's some more information. You're interested in this, you can reach out to me. I'll be able to direct you to it. But it's whether it's for credit or non-credit, most students usually take summer semester. Others will have it for a full semester, either for spring or for fall. And it really depends upon if you're doing this for credit, what your department sets in regards to the amount of credit hours you need to have. Now, did either one of you, and I'll just open it up for either one that wants to mention, did you find any one of them more of a challenge than the other as far as the time that you had for your internship?
Do you want to go first, McKenzie, or does it matter?
I was trying to think. I don't think so. My first one was in an after school. So I didn't have any time conflicts because it was, you know, after school for kids. So it was like 3. And then this one was just like a school day from like 10 to 2. So I think they both were, even though they were both during my regular classes and I had to juggle both, they intertwined because like Les mentioned, it's for credit. So it's like a class, but it's still an internship. So kind of got double lucky.
And I think for me, the the one I did this summer was like 9 to 5, but there were just meetings throughout the day. So technically I could just do it whenever I wanted to. And I tended to do that. I would only maybe have a couple meetings a day. And it's really self-discipline. My internship I did the summer before last in Senator Burr's office at BC was more like structured. I think the only other thing I would say on time is that just it's really on like what you want to do. Is like the timing could matter. Let's say like just say you have an open spring semester for something. Yes, it's still the same internship, but there could be a lot less competition. So say you graduated in the winter this year, and you're like, oh, do I want to do an internship in the spring or the summer, or like I'm virtual and I can do both. I can manage my classwork asynchronously at the same time. That's a tall order, but depending on what you do, really like look into like, oh, like if this program's super competitive and maybe I still want to do it. You may some people at some internships I did, they applied 2 or 3 times, and the third section of internships, like fall, spring, summer, they got it. So sometimes it just really kind of depends on what's available for you at the time.
Very good, thank you. And that's the key thing is with the internship, you have that built within if it's for academic credit, but also as Michael and Kenzie pointed out, it depends upon the timing for you. And sometimes there may be a greater competition for a summer internship than if your coursework allows that it's a spring internship or even a fall internship. So one thing we want, if you are doing this for academic credit, is you do want to talk to your academic advisor, your internship coordinator. They're going to be the first point of contact for you that's going to help you out within your program of study of the type of internships that you might want to be looking for. You do have the option of whether it's a paid internship or unpaid. All of these are giving you fantastic experience. And I will tell you that as the Career Development Center, we are working hard on communicating to these employers as they're offering these internships for you to try to make it a paid internship. Even if you're doing it virtually and you're doing it remotely, and your time, if you're doing this for your summer months, then that may be a lot of time that you have that's involved with that internship, and you might not be able to work unless you're doing an evening shift somewhere. So we're trying to get more companies to provide this as a paid internship for you, but some of them may not be a paid internship. They could be a nonprofit, fantastic opportunity for you. They just might not have the funds. So as you're searching for the internships, these are some questions that you want to ask or you want to look for on the posting. Is this a paid? Is this a not paid? What are some things I'm going to gain from it? Is it just something that I want for experience? Or is it something that I want for experience, but also for me to be able to get academic credit? Do you, as for those of our participants, before we move any further, do you have any questions that you would like to ask right now of our panelists? And you can just unmute yourself and. Okay. So at any time, just either put something either in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself if you've got a question that you would like to ask. Then please feel free to do it. As I mentioned, that we did have a internship expo event that was yesterday. It was from noon until 3. And if you had a chance to participate, that's great. If not, that's okay, because you can still go into Handshake and see the 29 different companies that we had that were registered for our event yesterday. And some of them do have it within the title. They'll have the opportunities marked as a remote internship. I looked up earlier in the week, and we've got over 600 internships that are listed in Handshake right now as remote opportunities for you. So pay very close attention to when you see these postings, the deadlines that they have. A lot of them, if they're for government, some of the deadlines are either at the end of this month or the end of, the end of this month, meaning February. We're pretty much, January's gone for us now. So a lot of the deadlines are at the end of February or the first part of March, if you're looking for any type of a government internship, especially when it comes to summer. So pay very close attention to that. You can go to our internships.appstate.edu website, and there's some assistance that's provided for you on how to do the search. Your key thing for you to be able to find is by using Handshake. And so most of you, if you saw this event, you've got your Handshake account set up. This is where you want to go in and you want to look and do a search to see what's available for you in different areas that you're wanting to look for. Michael and McKenzie, were there any things that you found to be with this, as far as we talked about the different challenges and how it was on getting connected? Where did you stand when you were working with your different areas on opportunities for networking, or the relationships that you were able to build with those that you worked? I know it's difficult for us to be able to create relationships if we're not physically with one another. So how were you able to kind of get across those barriers of not physically being one, but trying to be able to get connected? And are you still connected with some of them now?
So mine was a little different, as it was my teacher and then the rest of us in the classroom. But we do actually still email the teacher. She'll share like her PowerPoint. She has weekly PowerPoints because it's on Zoom, or her lesson plans. And I just made it my job, my effort to try to learn as much about her job. That's going to be my job soon, and just see more about what she does. And especially now that it's on Zoom, and it might be the possibility that I'll have to start my teaching degree on Zoom. So I tried to ask her questions about how she does it, and I just asked a whole bunch of questions. And I also tried to see if I liked her school, if I wanted to apply to that school. For when I graduated, I asked her questions about where it was located, and if they ever meet in person, how's administration. And I just tried to make those connections, because teachers are needed everywhere. So it's just my job to figure out where I want to go.
No, I think for me, I don't like text them every single day, but like if what I was going to do in that, I was planning at some point doing like a networking trip to Raleigh, meet some people, and like just stopping by the office, and they were like, oh yeah, like please do that, please stop by. And so definitely, I think one of the ways I did that is that, one, I mean, sometimes when it's just like a one-on-one, I like to think I'm somewhat personable, or at least used to be before COVID. And so just one of the things we would do is the staff at the commission would like set aside time to have like kind of like coffee chats. And sometimes we'd like just meet. I met with each staff member, I'm pretty sure, for like at least an hour, and just talked about like life goals, how they get to where they are and everything. And also it was a very, I've never maybe been in such like a positive work environment where actually like everybody truly does like each other. And I'm not saying that like that's not to like be cynical about like how the world is, but like everyone, like there was no beef there. Everyone actually was friends. And so like people would make jokes, and like it was definitely like felt like my worry was that I was going to get on it, and like it was going to be, I'm just kind of like, I work on my own, and they didn't really do that. So it just depends on where you work. But I think many people, like, they're, unless they're a juror, like if you work at a place and they're like, hey, would you want to, we can eat lunch on Zoom together and talk for 30 minutes about how, or your, like, how'd you get to be my supervisor in this role? I don't think many people would say that.
Well, thank you. And that's where we know that the opportunities that you'll have to be able to create these relationships, it doesn't just end once your internship is over. You've got the opportunity, and this is where your networking part comes into play. The more people that you can gain a network with, the better. So you've got your handshake account. LinkedIn is also a way that you'll be able to, on the professional form of social media. And that's a way for you to be able to get connected to other people professionally. But this, just those intern opportunities that you have, these people are going to be your future resources. You'll find out that if you've got questions for things, staying connected with them. But I would think, and I think that you both could agree that, yeah, I mean, you have those connections now, you see that. And if you had any question of, or what some things I might be able to look for the future, they're going to be the first ones that can offer you some advice, and to be able to say, well, have you thought of this, or have you considered this? So in some aspects, your opportunity as an internship becomes an opportunity for a mentorship too, as well. And it could be a building of a future mentorship that you would be able to have and establish from the site where you've been at. Get to the next slide here. We do have an event that's coming up. I just have this here as far as the Outdoor Jobs Fair. That is the next one that's coming up in February. That's not really going to be a virtual internship, but it will be in person. But I do want to make sure that you're aware of what is available for you through the Outdoor Jobs Fair, as well as what we have through our Career Connect. And I can put these into the chat if you want, but it's careers.appstate.edu, just Career Connect. And that gives you a list of everything that's coming up and available for you. Getting into some of the last parts, what would be, and you shared a lot of great words of wisdom and a lot of nuggets. Let me see here. We've got a chat. Yep. Thank you, McKenzie. Perfect. What would be the words of wisdom that either one of you would like to be able to provide for our students, and anything else that you would like to be able to add? And then we'll open the forum up for any kind of questions that you may have for our panelists, any questions that you have for us. It'd be great to be able to just kind of hear a little bit of where you are in regards to years and what you're looking for internships. So I'll let Michael, if you'd like to go first.
Sure. I think the words of wisdom, definitely, I'm trying to think about it. Definitely, I'm like currently looking for a job, and given the economy and the state of the world, it's going as good as it can. I even, like, some people I've talked to is like, you're not like putting yourself out there even enough. And I think that everyone is, like, everyone said this before, but like everyone else was in the same start place you were. And depending on, I'm a political science econ major, so like it may be completely different for another field, but every single person that I talked to, they were me one day. They were reaching out to people like, hey, will you give me some advice? I'm applying to these places, anybody? Like, they kind of, at some point, you don't have to sit here and like put on some sort of masquerade that you're like selling something door to door and you feel bad about it. And so I definitely would just, like, whatever you think you're comfortable with, is that realize, I think, at least for me, I feel like COVID going on, a lot of people have a lot more things important in the world going on, but still, for some people, it could be a refreshing change of pace for their day to get an email. I'm like, oh yeah, like, that's how it literally is for some people. I was kind of like scared to email them. I was like, why would they want to talk to me? But they're like, yo, yeah, like, this is probably like the highlight of my day because I get to go back on my staff meeting for another 2 or 3 hours. And so I would just say, like, really just keep the faith. And even if you're like a sophomore, like, it's never too early to start to get to knowing people and do internships. So I think that's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's a good one, Michael. Just like it can be hard. Zoom fatigue is real. It can be hard to just stay happy and not like, keep your spirits up if you're sitting in front of a computer all day, then you have to do work for whatever you were sitting in front of the computer for on the computer. You're just like, okay, this is enough. So it's just important to just figure out how to keep your morale up. Like Michael, he loves his major. He's in his internship and he loved his internship. I love my major. I love kids, so I love my internship. So pick something that is near and dear to your heart that you're passionate about, that you won't let the fact that you're not in person make you hate it, if that makes sense. And I also would say just take the extra step to show that you do care. For my major, the teachers were going through it. It was just having to switch like that and teach little kids and rely on them to focus and sit in front of a computer was just hard. So trying to take the initiative, like how can I help? What can I do? Being the person to take that step without them having to tell you goes a long way because they're stressed out, especially right now. So yeah, I think those are my words of wisdom.
Very good. And, some of the things that was mentioned in the key part is finding your passion. And that's the thing. One thing is Zoom fatigue, as you mentioned. Yes, it's real. We get tired from it. Um, but knowing that you're in an area, and I will tell you this, sometimes when you have an internship, it may come out to where you find out that that is not the place that you want to be and what you want to do. And that's okay too. So we're fortunate, Michael and McKenzie both had an internship what they've had, but you may start off in one area in one internship and it just doesn't stack up the way that you would like and hope to. That's fine. That's okay. I know that when I had one of my internships, I found out, well, that's definitely something I don't want to do. I gained a lot of valuable skills from it, but it helped point me into the direction of where I wanted to go. And then I did a second internship to where now I'm really targeted into the area of what I want to find out and what I want to do. So there's nothing wrong with that. So don't ever feel that that's not right or that's, it's a failed attempt. Every opportunity that you have, you've got to be able to learn in a given area, get the skills from it, and help provide the direction that you would like to have and where you want to go. Any questions that you would like to have for us and for our panelists? And the only worst question is a question that's not asked. So.
I can literally ask anything.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Actually, we had an internship Monday is like, ask me anything internship night. So we had some panelists and it was just ask me anything about internships. So would any of you like to share as far as what year you are and what you are looking into for internships? Have you started on the process or just beginning the process?
Hi guys, I'm Kyra. So I am like 4 credits away from being a senior, so almost. And I will actually be student teaching next spring. And so I wanted to watch this clip, well, one, because it was required for a class, and also because paid internships are pretty awesome. And I work at a school currently and I'm off for the summer. So I'm super interested in summer internships. The paid variety for everybody. But so that's really it. I'm wondering if there's anything located in Buncombe County. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep, I'm familiar. Buncombe and Haywood County area. In a previous life, I went down to the research station that's there in the area and did a lot of work in the And this is my encore career. So this is a second career for me. So I worked in horticulture and everything for over 20 years before I went back to school and got my graduate degree and changed and came into education. So yeah, so thank you. Welcome. If you go into Handshake, and if I can come back into this screen, and I will go back to sharing my screen again. If you pull up Handshake, and when you do the search, underneath the search field, you can either type in remote and internships and just find a job. So that's the first place, looking for a job. Internship. Then if you want it remote or in person, you can also put in under the search, it'll ask you the location and where you want to be able to look. So I pulled up I pulled up in the Boone area. I pulled this up as remote, and that's where it shows we have 610 jobs found just for remote. But so use that search function in the location function, and Kyra, you should be able to then see what's available in your area.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm a senior art management major. And so in my major, we have our big summer internship at the end. People usually do it when they're seniors. So we actually graduate in August instead of May technically, and it's kind of a big end of your undergraduate internship. So it's everything you've learned, you kind of apply, and it's required to graduate. So that's kind of, I'm in the middle of the process of applying and all of that stuff. And I was gonna say, you mentioned a list of what was it, internships abroad that were gonna be online or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to get in touch with you because I would really love to see that list because I'm kind of in the beginning process. So if there's one or two that sound good to me, I would love to apply to those. But yeah.
Yeah, I've provided my email in the chat. So it's
Okay.
millerlc1@appstate.edu.
Perfect.
And Office of International Education, or OIED, they have on their website, you can see some opportunities, but it was the name of the organization. It was CEA, and it's ceastudyabroad.com. So I will put that in the chat for you as well. And they have a lot of different opportunities for you, and they even provide some scholarships for students. I think they said a scholarship opportunity is they have over 500 companies that are available, 10 virtual locations. If it's in person, they've got 15 different countries. But if you go to ceastudyabroad.com and look at the information there, they've got their application process, and you can kind of see what's available. They have an asynchronous classroom of opportunities and learning center for you as well. So it's really neat. It's really how they've got they have it broken down. If it's an 8-week cycle for summer, and we talked about these NACE career competencies. Okay, they have a NACE career coach that would be assigned to you as a student, and so you will get with this coach, start working on a set project within a given area. And your coach then will aid you in identifying the different skills that you are learning within that project. And it's like every other week that they'll meet with you and go over it. And so that's something then they kind of get you tied in, as well as then in between times, then you're getting the immersion in the cultural aspect of the location as well. So check it out. Anyone else? Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hey, Madison.
Hi, I'm a freshman currently, so I still have a while until I do my internship, but I'm majoring in dietetics, and I'm actually in introduction to the profession right now. So I'm going to be learning a lot about dietetics internships specifically. But yeah, I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to say hi and thank you.
Well, good. Now, are you in the Boone area or where are you located?
Yeah, I'm in Summit Hall right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We have a job posting currently right now with Hospitality House. And if you have not seen that in Handshake, Todd Carter is the managing and hiring director over there. We've had quite a few students that have been in nutrition and dietetics that have worked with getting an opportunity of volunteering first over at the Hospitality House. That's just across town. That's over there close to Hatchet Coffee, if you know where Hatchet Coffee is located.
I think so.
And off of Bamboo Road.
Yeah, I think.
But Hospitality House is located back over there. And so that's something that you might want to look into. Just pull it up under Handshake and you can see the information. But we've had quite a few students who have started there and then it's developed into an internship for them.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you for introducing. All right.
My name's Aaliyah. Sorry, I'm sick right now, so I sound really weird. But my name's Aaliyah. I'm a senior graduating with a psych degree, actually. But I'm a nutrition major, so my food service class, he recommended that I come to this internship fair in case I go on to get like a double major in nutrition later on. I'm probably going to be doing a virtual internship at that point, so yes.
Well, very good. Welcome. Glad to have you. And the same thing, Hospitality House, check that out that we have. Campus services, we're working closer with them on opportunities that students may be able to have on campus as well. And so just to see what's available. Then Handshake is going to be your friend. So more and more companies, I had, I think I looked at it was first part of the week, 1,600 different internship opportunities that we had posted in Handshake, period. And then there was 331 that were just in the Boone area alone. So a lot of opportunities. Anyone else? And
hi, I'm Lily again.
Hi, Lily.
Hi. I am a freshman as well. And I'm also majoring in nutrition. But when I went into school, I already had an associate's degree. So my my years are shortened, so I only have 3 years I have to go into. So when do you think I should like start looking into getting an internship?
Well, what we see for a lot of students, if you're a transfer student coming in, and so you're transferring in maybe as an upperclassman, but if this is your first year or first semester, we really would like, and this is what I recommend for students, is to wait until after that first year. And especially with things being as crazy as what it has been with the pandemic and where we stand with everything, we really would love for you to be able to get this sense of community within App State first before you take say a whole semester off that you're doing an internship. You've not had the opportunity to maybe fully get connected with your internship coordinator within your program of study or your academic advisor. And that could be, it's not going to be, saying it can't be done, but it'll become a great challenge for you. And that would be then the question, if this is just your first semester, then you're saying, well, I'm going to do an internship for academic credit this summer. You and I would have to have a lot of conversation of how comfortable. Now, if you want to start one off as just not doing it for academic credit, but for just the experience, then I say go for it, but do it only in the summer so you're not missing out on your courses that you would normally have and getting yourself established for your degree that you would then need for the requirement for either fall or spring semester. Does that help? And you've got my email address, so if you have any other questions, reach out to me and we can continue in that conversation. But we really want our students to get established with how the processes are first before you venture out Now, if it's virtual, at least you're still here, and that's a good thing. But there are a lot of different nuances when you're filing and you're looking for getting an internship. And if you're writing your report and your paper up, there's some things that we just need to make sure that we have all of the T's crossed and the I's dotted, so to speak. Does anyone have anything else? I am going to stop our recording right now.